Вот оно, немецкое говно!
It is May 1st, and there's a giant buzz going around in Moscow because, as you just saw, there is NATO equipment, but for me, more importantly, American equipment being showcased in Moscow. Now, I am sure that everybody's going to keep looking for more footage, so I'm going to put some, but I want you to stick around because I want to talk about how that equipment got there, but more importantly, why that equipment got there. Let's talk about how the equipment got here. Well, it's pretty obvious. The equipment had to have been captured, right? Well, this is how it happens.
Что заметил? Проходите потихоньку. Он заминирован, да? Залезь, глянь. Там есть что снять с него можно? Кроме антенны.
Obviously, there's been dozens and dozens of big battles, even two major battles, the Battle of Bakhmut, the Battle of Avdiivka. This is plenty of time for the Western equipment to be knocked out. And obviously, that equipment finally gets to be collected. And you know what? That is exactly how you end up losing equipment. But that is not how the equipment got to Moscow. This is how it got to Moscow.
Вот оно, немецкое говно!
I really can't tell you how I feel about this, but I'm not surprised. And you know what? I don't blame the Russian people for having a big buzz as they're driving and they're seeing these tanks rolling around the streets, and now how they're in display. I don't blame them for being hyped about it. I just want them to understand that this is not the will of the people, obviously. And so us Americans and other NATO countries' citizens can't take this personally. There's no reason why you should actually feel bad now. I used to feel bad when I went to Patriot Park, but you know what? This is just how it works. Before we talk about why they got there, this is exactly how it happened. All right? That equipment was sent to battle. And the battle didn't go good for that equipment because probably operators were not good enough to operate these things. And they got knocked out. And they got transported like toys of the Second World War. They did the same thing to the Nazis. And now they're doing it to the NATO equipment. And if you want to see it, obviously, here's more clips of the captured NATO equipment. I think that the most important question to answer now is why. Now, before I explain my reasons why I think that the equipment is in the middle of Moscow right now, comment down below and give me your theories on why NATO equipment is in the center of Moscow. Because here's my reason. Let's go.
The next few hours, literally the few hours, we're going to begin sending in equipment to Ukraine for air defense munitions, for artillery, for rocket systems, and armored vehicles. You know, this package is literally an investment, not only in Ukraine's security, but in Europe's security, in our own security. We're sending Ukraine equipment from our own stockpiles. Then we'll replenish those stockpiles with new products made by American companies here in America. Patriot missiles made in Arizona, Javelins made in Alabama, artillery shells made in Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Texas. In other words, we're helping Ukraine while at the same time investing in our own industrial base, strengthening our own national security, and supporting jobs in nearly 40 states all across America.
Well, well, well. If it ain't Sleepy Joe, listen. We've been suffering. It has actually been an uncalculatable amount of pain, I guess. I think I just made that up. But you can't quantify the amount, you can't calculate, the amount of pain the citizens have been going through. This guy is speaking about boosting our economy through weapons and building new things and using our stockpiles and this and that and talking about like if it's our conflict, you know. This guy is the biggest reason why we are right now currently in this problem. And that is the biggest reason why the NATO and especially American equipment is being paraded around in the center of Moscow. As a war veteran, I'm against war in general, and especially about this fake hate that our president is throwing on the Russian people. But anyways, this goes deeper than that. I'm pretty sure that the following clip, many of you guys already know about this.
In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex. The potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power exists and will persist. We must never let the weight of this combination endanger our liberties or democratic processes. We should take nothing for granted. Only an alert and knowledgeable citizenry can compel the proper meshing of the huge industrial and military machinery of defense with our peaceful methods and goals.
And it really feels like we've learned nothing. With all of these decades of wars that we've been having, these proxy wars that we've been having to deal with, it seems like us, the Americans and the NATO countries, have learned absolutely nothing. That the Russian people, through their lineage and their pride and their Russian soul, this means that they're going to see this through to the end. They're not going to be giving up, and we're just going to give more and more war trophies, it seems like, as the time goes by. The saddest part about all of this is that we forgot that we were once allies. Look at this picture here. Now, my Russian ain't good enough to translate this, but I got told that this sign here said that "Hi from America" and that we will never forget what you've done. Something around that, right? It's something that revolves around their gratitude that they showed to the Soviet soldiers or the Russian soldiers. And honestly, for me, it feels like I'm in a twilight zone, because that was then and this is now, where we're fighting against them, where we're instigating problems. This is a complete nightmare. Just think about what the Russians call what we call the Second World War. They call it the Great Patriotic War. This means so much more to them. This is an unbelievable amount of I guess, like, honor to them, because they have, memorials everywhere. This is the Great Patriotic War. And for them, this is a continuation. For them, it never stops. For them, they're always on the defense in their minds. And they're always fighting against tyrants. And to them, they'll go and see through it, like I said, until the end. And now I'm going to roll the clip of all the accumulated clips that I've gathered for you, just in case you haven't seen them, so you can see what it's like to be in the center of Moscow, from how they got there, and now you know why they got there. Hopefully I get to record it live, but I wanted to make this report because I think it's more important to talk about how and why this is happening. It's very sad, it's very tragic. God save us all.
Одного катка нету. Так. Я его не сорву, оно не возьмет нихуя. Что сверху? Закрытый? Эй?